not so good. Anybody seeing and hearing us? This delay gets really annoying.
Well, there's nothing at all I can do.
I'm not disagreeing. All I'm saying
trying
is,
to figure out here. Nobody's giving us feedback. I
yeah,
don't know.
can't can't see anything.
Hello, can someone please tell me if you are seeing or hearing us?
Yeah,
Hello?
David, somebody say whether they can hear us or see us. It's supposed to be functioning.
Hello, people?
And get your phone out. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to do four things at once on my
I
phone. One of
know
them is
you
not
are. It
your
might have
video.
been nice not to be doing it.
Ugh. Not
No,
both. Is it good or bad?
no, I guess that means he can see and he can hear.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to know what kind of quality.
I presume reasonably good. But anyhow, 5 by 5. Okay. Thank you, honey bunny. Anyhow, last week most of the time was taken up fishing with my daughter.
Hi, Jean. Jean from California here.
Jean. Hmm. I know a couple Jeans from California. Can you be a little more specific, Gene? Anyhow, um, so Bonnie came by and we went fishing and we did pretty good. Unfortunately, um, the pictures got kind of complicated to get here, and I mean to post up and everything. So won't be able to show any right now, but don't know of any proven claims right now. Poker face. Hi, Brian. Uh, Central Valley. Don't they know? Not Panamint Valley. Yeah. There was something to do with a raptor. We met him in Sacramento dinner that time. But anyhow, I'm getting pretty old. It's kind of hard to keep track. Uh, so anyhow, uh, fishing went pretty good 3 out of 4 days. Fourth day, windy, cold, nothing was biting, sucked. We just came back. But first day we caught 20 kokanee, and the next day we caught 5 big rainbows, and the next day we caught 5 big rainbows, but it was 3 and 2 the other direction. So, but I mean, big rainbows, like 3 pounders. So it was pretty. I mean, we didn't get a lot. They were pretty big. So we had a good time, had a good visit, and then once she left, I was back in the lab, and I'll get to that shortly. And tomorrow we are heading out.
San Joaquin Valley, downhill.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, Gene. It don't feel lighted. It's pretty rough. Sometimes I forget her name, you know. But we uh, got some work done in the lab and trying to get things kind of straightened up. But because she's going to the doctor tomorrow.
Chris Saucier. Hi,
Yeah.
Chris. Alaska's been keeping you busy as hell. Yeah, winter. I
Yeah.
would think so. Winter is a thing.
Yep. So, anyhow, we taking her to Missoula tomorrow. She has another surgery scheduled on Wednesday, and hopefully it shouldn't be that difficult a surgery theoretically, but last time the anesthesia seemed to kick her butt. So
Yeah, weird shit happened.
yeah, she couldn't even walk until the next morning. Well, I mean, she could kind of walk by 2 o'clock in the morning, but I had to hold on to her. And so um, that's going to have us out of action for a few days there. Uh, so we should be back Friday or something like that. Read my 10-step process for hard rock gold. Not if you sent it today, Brian. I've been fairly busy today. Again, trying to get ready for the trip tomorrow. Um, the the testing I've been doing so far this week was the hydrochloric acid chlorine uh, solution, and uh, I'll probably be getting back to the Eco Goldex when we get back. I want to be very careful to only be working on one type of solution at a time.
She says first live attendee has left some comments on recording.
Okay.
Yeah, send it again.
Yeah. And so because the Eco Goldex can be broken down by acid into hydrogen cyanide gas, I want to make sure I'm only using one type of solution at a time so that I don't accidentally cross. Now, what I've got right now, the hydrochloric acid chlorine solution is supposed to be pretty aggressive and pretty rapid, and I'm unable to confirm that at this time because the assay lab has been kind of busy, and so I have no analyses of the solutions I've taken them. Um, yeah, yeah, honey bunny chlorine isn't too good either. But the nice thing about chlorine compared to hydrogen cyanide is the chlorine is irritating before it gets deadly. The cyanide, not so much. So you're going to notice the chlorine before it's going to get you. Hold on a second. I'm going to get a little
He'll
thing
be right back, guys. He'll be right back. He just got a text.
Let's see how this looks. Okay, back up a little bit. Anyhow, here's some of the hydrochloric acid chlorine solution. And I got just short of 500 cc's there. And little one, could you hold that for a second? Back up a little bit if you want. Whole thing if you can. Now, this is sodium metabisulfite.
They can't see the bottom of that.
I know. I'm going to go through. And as you add it, you can see how it's reducing stuff. Now, what's happening to my understanding is the sodium metabisulfite creates sulfur dioxide gas, which is what actually does it. You can use sulfur dioxide gas, but this is an easy way to generate it. So I'm going to put that in there and then let that sit and I'm going to move it to a safer location, and then we'll bring it back later tonight. But that is theoretically the gold plus some other stuff. Tomorrow, assuming I don't screw everything up, I'll get this settled, dried, and smelted. And then I'll be able to put it on a video. I've already been, that's why Eva's taking video right now.
The original solution was?
It was hydrochloric acid and hypochlorite and salt. That's about, well, this was about pH 2 with hydrochloric acid, which was stronger than I wanted. I was actually shooting for 4, but I cut what I did before in half, and it still went to 2. And it's about 2% sodium chloride, and then sodium, well, actually, it's a calcium hypochlorite. What? Just turn it off now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And the chlorine is what actually dissolves the gold, in theory. And the hypochlorite quickly dissociation of the chlorine kind of reacts and or outgas. I think in this case, it's actually reacting with the pulp to a significant extent because of the amount of reagent consumption. But that might be highly advantageous because we're trying to break down sulfates too. So I'm going to put this in a safe place.
We'll be right back, guys. He will be right back.
And
hi, Kodak. And actually, no, it didn't smell that bad. I was right over here.
You know, so because it's kind of tall and easily knocked over, I'd prefer not to, especially around the electronics. So the hydrochloric acid chlorine system is supposed to be pretty aggressive. It's supposed to dissolve gold quite rapidly. It's just what I happen to have, honey bunny. For whatever reason, it was tough to find sodium hypochlorite. So I went to the calcium hypochlorite pool shock. It's available over at Home Depot in little packages for, I don't know, $4, something like that. So it's fine. Anyhow, the instructions that I was working off of said pH of 3 to 4 and hey Rock, how's it going? And you wanted an oxidation reduction potential of about 1,000. It took quite a number of additions of the hypochlorite to get it up to 1,000. It kept coming up, dropping down, coming up, dropping down. Again, I think it's reacting with the pulp itself to break it down. Hey, Jean-Francois. So that is my assumption at this point, and it may do pretty good. I can say this. The reaction of the chlorine, hydrochloric acid and the hypochlorite seems to break down the pulp pretty good. And when my second test where I was running the bottle roll, oh my goodness, it was unfilterable, etc. And so anyhow, I dramatically reduced the agitation after that, and it seems to settle reasonably well. The system seems to be relatively straightforward. Muriatic acid, about 10 milliliters per liter, actually less than 10 milliliters of muriatic acid per liter of water. Gets you in the range, no problem. The salt is, of course, available everywhere. And the hypochlorite is pretty much available anywhere there's civilization because it's used for water treatment, pools, things like that. So it should be easy to get a hold of. The concentrations seem to be easily uh, dealt with. And one of the interesting things is, since the hypochlorite is a consumable, if you stop adding it, you lose the reactivity, and theoretically you can precipitate it like I just did, and it will not redissolve. Verifying all these mythical properties, we shall see. And so it's possibly a very good, simple system under certain situations. One of the problems is that because the hypochlorite is a consumable, it loses its reactivity so quickly that it would not be good for something like a pad leach. With a tank leach, you continually add more hypochlorite as needed. So that might work fine, but in a pad leach, that's not going to be possible. So unless it's active at much lower concentrations than I'm generating, something that'll work fairly easily, which I haven't tested yet, it I don't know if it would work in a pad leach. Okay, but it seems to be fairly simple. The chemicals needed are fairly straightforward, easily obtained, and used in concentrations which are pretty safe. And
honey bunny.
Yeah. And you go ahead and then just let it settle, the chlorine to off gas, and then add the sodium metabisulfate and precipitate it. Might work out fine. On the other hand, in a more production setting or whatever, where you want long-term reactivity, the Eco Goldex may work out better. Was discussing this with one of the principals down there in Central America today in detail, and the preliminary plan is for the long run to have an Eco Goldex leach with a resin in pulp recovery, and then a desorption from the resin. He's currently getting some of the resin that Eco Goldex sells to do this and seeing what the desorbent parameters are.
It would be funny as hell if it turned out to be
Hey, Asakura.
oh, wow.
What?
Rock butcher. You
Yeah.
wouldn't believe the veins hitting my belly. Wow.
Huh.
That must be beautiful.
Wow.
I would love to see that in person. Lucky you.
Yeah, Rock. Lauren's up on the hill with a bunch of geophysicists trying to do I think it's an induced polarity study or whatever. They got 20 miles of wire out there. The snow has been falling, and the
Asakura mining.
critters have been migrating, which has caused them no end of trouble trying to maintain their wire network as things as big as moose trip over the wires and break them. So anyhow, the research on the Eco Goldex is going to be only next week, and
oh, definitely send photos. That sounds nice.
I've got to determine a number of the parameters. It seems to dissolve the gold quite readily. Unfortunately, it also has problems with the spot test. I think it has to do with oxidation
wants to
potential.
know why IP looking for gold is they're disseminating sulfide. Well, it's actually a copper.
More like massive sulfides, Rock. It's a copper ore body too.
Yeah, and it runs like serious percentage of copper.
There's also some
chunks of
moly,
native copper too.
and there's moly and stuff too, but it's primarily a polymetallic copper ore body. And the deepest hole, did they ever get, did you remember, did Lauren ever say, did they get to 2,000 feet?
I don't think they got to
I don't think they
2,000
got,
feet because of all the problems.
I think they only got to like 1,600 feet on that core drill. But they were coring, I think, like almost 2 inch or a little bit bigger cores.
Yeah, there's even native copper there. It's absolutely.
Yeah. There's like 9 geophysicists up there right now trying to fight the snow and everything. They got
Eco Goldex hates copper. That's
so
good.
anyhow, I'll be doing more on the Eco Goldex next week, where I'm trying to figure out what's the advantages of pre-treating with, say, OxyClean.
Well, they might be doing them. We're not sure exactly.
I don't know. It has wires and things stuck in the ground. That's all I know.
Unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to go up and spy on the whole thing because of all this cancer.
So anyhow, all I know is he said that it's been real fun trying to keep this thing going till they can get through the snow and call it a season. So I got to check out the oxidation options. I have to see if I can get the spot test to work under a lot of these things. It's been an issue with the when I put the OxyClean in there. Spot test really didn't want to work. Again, I think it's because the spot test is reducing the gold, and the OxyClean is an oxidizing agent. And then we also want to try a zinc precipitation for now, because it's something that could be done quickly. Later on, the plan is to switch to resin and pulp, but that's going to take more equipment, more complexity, a desorption circuit, and all that other stuff. So, hey, Alex, how's it going? And so we have a lot of parameters to explore and try and refine. But now we're also looking at starting out with just zinc precipitation and then going on to resin absorption, desorption later. So got lots of things to do. Probably be home by Friday, but that's going to depend on how he recovers such. And then I can get back to work. I've already got basically one video in the can right now. And what I just did is going to be the next, not just that one thing, that's part of the next video. Now that I put the precipitant in there, and then we have to let it settle. And then I got to go ahead and, well, that's pretty good. Brian, that's an ounce to the ton. Well, it's always good to get more than you were expecting by a little over a factor of 2. Blame it on Putin, Alex. Either that or global warming.
Or tariffs or
He says he's forced to live with his parents despite having an engineering degree. So expensive to live over there. Yep.
Yeah. On tariffs or government.
So anyhow, that's what I'm working with on the leaching right now. The CLS system from Action Mining has definitely been put on the back burner. It may work fine. but the initial test didn't go so well. And the methodology described in the instructions is going to cause a lot of chemical consumption, so it's going to get kind of expensive.
Yeah,
And
for all we know, it may not have gone so well before.
oh, it could be for a lot of
Probably
reasons.
only one type of ore to test on.
I know, but taking a whole bunch of sulfuric acid and then throwing it away gets pretty expensive too, no matter what.
Know.
I say that's what I was going. It's like it looks like it's going to be pretty wasteful using that methodology, and I haven't had a chance to uh, get a hold of the manufacturer and discuss it in detail. I will not have an opinion until I've had a chance to research it a lot more. By the way, I also so far am quite pleased with that Vivor kiln. I think it was a KD something or other.
That kiln is working great.
The 110 volt kiln, reasonable warm up time. It's up to temperature in about 45 minutes. It's a little bit larger than the tabletop. The heating elements are much better protected and supported. The insulation is thicker and more effective. And so at the moment, I'm pretty happy with it. We will see what the durability is. But assuming that it's durable, I'm quite pleased. It also has instructions in the little manual that comes with it on how to replace the heating elements. So one would assume that they sell heating elements and they can be replaced. I say that when they have instructions, it's like, okay, you're probably going to be replacing them. I also did an impromptu, unscheduled torture test in that shortly before my daughter Bonnie came to go fishing and stuff, I had thought I had turned it off. But unfortunately, apparently, I had not. And so it was running for 4 or 5 straight days at 950 degrees centigrade. So it was running fairly hot for a long, long time. And it seems to be working just fine. The temperature controller is easy to manipulate, not complex and it was the particular kiln that we bought from Tabletop had a complex controller because we deliberately wanted that so that we could do complex temperature profiles. Turned out to be pretty much unnecessary. So, yeah, pretty much it was a pretty good break-in.
The one drawback is that Vibor does everything Celsius.
Yeah.
So if you don't like Celsius, you're going to.
Well, you just write the stuff in Celsius there. Oh yeah, you can get rid of it, but why would you want to buy it and then destroy it if you can do something else? Oh yeah, that kiln is thoroughly, seasoned. But I do like it. Okay. It seems to be pretty solidly built. So the insulation is thicker and it's not that fibrous insulation that one of the problems with the tabletop was the staples that were holding in the heating elements just kept falling out. Yeah, well, this stuff is more like fire brick and it's much thicker. And it was running the day I was specifically tested it. Went from stone cold to hot, and then I'd run it about 3 hours, and I could still take my fingers and quickly touch them to the outside of the cabinet like you would, say, an iron, a laundry iron. Yeah, the front door, not so much. The insulation there is not as good. But that's not bad. You know, don't rely on a Vevor torque wrench. Okay. Somebody once said with referred to Harbor Freight. It says it's good for everything if it doesn't have numbers on it. Measuring devices and stuff like that. Not so much. But Vevor is no doubt cheap Chinesium, but sometimes cheap works fine in the particular application. We'll have to see.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's not going to. Muriatic, it might dissolve some of the sludge that they generated, but yeah, it's not going to.
Apparently, zirconia fiber felt is a thing. What the heck do you use it for?
I presume it's high temperature insulation.
I want some. I have no idea what I'd do with it, but I want some anyway.
Well, you'd insulate something with it. But anyhow, as I say, I've been pretty pleased so far with the kiln, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to smelt down this residue. And as a matter of fact, I should probably take that and pour it in a beaker right now. That'll be a lot easier to decant. I suppose I could.
Good grief.
Yeah, pretty much. You'd almost have to pour it down the bore.
He will be right back. He's going to get the chemical experiment to show you guys that.
I'm just gonna take the stuff here and pour it in a beaker. It's not obvious, but you can see some of it is.
You can see a little sludge around the bottom of the beaker.
Got an interesting aroma too. Smells a little bit like sulfur dioxide.
You can actually see sludge on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. So, anyhow, I'll put this again out of the way. I'm highly confident that all that precipitate is not gold. Does anyone happen to know how selective the reaction of sulfur dioxide precipitating gold from a chloride solution is? Or was is it a relatively non-specific precipitation? Yeah, it can get pretty expensive, Rock. Hey, by the way, what's the current price of core drilling? If you had a reasonable number of feet to drill and reasonable access, just kind of an average sort of thing. I got 5,000 feet of core I want to drill. What generally would be the price per foot on something like that? I'm just kind of curious. And
tips tell you about
yeah.
Yeah, how selective is myself?
Yeah, in terms of precipitating gold as opposed to precipitating other things that might be in solution, like iron, for example.
Iron out. It's very selective.
Well, then there's a lot of gold in there.
be so lucky.
Thank you, Rock. Yeah, I was wondering because I know it used to be that like reverse circulation was like $10 a foot, whereas coring was like $100 a foot.
How many holes and how far we had?
Say about 5 holes, 1,000 feet deep, or 10 holes, 500 feet deep. Uh, Call it a couple 100 feet between holes. Basically, a simple tram between one and the other. Nothing really complicated. Yeah, I think the sulfur dioxide is basically the active ingredient that the sodium metabisulfite creates. It's not that the bisulfite itself so much precipitates it, it's the sulfur dioxide that it makes. I believe that's the case. I do not know. But I mean, generating a sulfur dioxide gas stream is probably not the simplest thing in the world. If you had compressed sulfur dioxide, wouldn't be too hard. Well, that would be interesting because what I'm precipitating is a fairly significant amount.
Well, this is my question there.
What?
Iron out is primarily sodium metabisulfite.
It's also got some other sulfite there too.
Yeah. Well, my question is, how does iron?
I don't know.
Does it precipitate the iron thing?
$681 a foot. Now that might really apply where Lauren's at because it's pretty rough mountainside and stuff.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't $500 a foot by now. It used to be back in like 1980s about $100 a foot. Uh, if I ran the pH over 3.4, you got the iron. Now it was running about a 2. And that pH was running about a 2, but that's interesting. That was the other thing I wanted to do was see how running a different pH had it. It was about 2. Varied between about 1.8 and 2.1 during the test.
See, Alex gets to play with all the fun.
Yeah, it did. It stayed low. I checked. Anyone happen to know a good way of making sulfur dioxide gas rather than just buying it in a compressed cylinder? I mean, you can certainly burn the sulfur, but how do you get it to bubble through the uh, solution? Now you need to generate it and then direct it. I suppose you could take a flask, heat the bottom, pump air in, and then run it out. This is why sodium metabisulfite is so popular. It's real simple.
Down the butthole.
Yep. So, Street Tip shows how? Okay, I could ask. I mean, I could go look.
Okay, cool.
But I say that's basically what I'm doing. And if that's fairly selective, then it might be a pretty good methodology in many cases. Huh. Drop sulfuric acid onto chlorine hypochlorite, huh? Okay. Interesting. So, as I say, I'm learning a lot. I figure by next springtime I'll be pretty knowledgeable on this stuff. So, I say that's basically the immediate future in the testing thing. And Eva's, you know, health issues and stuff takes priority. And Mickey Driller start 500 a day, huh? That wouldn't surprise me. Group Preg solution, huh? Yep. I say we'll see what I learn over the next 6 months. It could be interesting. Well, it will be interesting. I guarantee that. The other possible complication is property that I'm currently living on may get sold out from under me, and the new landlord may or may not want us to move out. So we shall see what happens there. I'm not too worried about it. Um, the situation probably is going to take time to develop. You know, if they want to do something with the property, they're probably going to have, make a plan, submit it to planning and zoning, get approval, blah, blah, blah. So that typically will take 6 to 12 months. So we should have plenty of warning, but we won't know. I say we really don't know, but say, like everything else, we're just flying by the seat of our pants. So we shall see what we shall see. Any questions or subjects or something that anyone brings up? Glad to hear from you, Rock. Glad. Wish you weren't so tired, but yeah, that's the way it goes. Well, that's kind of hard to do when I don't even know his name. The current owner is trying to sell it. I have no business getting in the middle of that. Sale may not even go through. It's impossible to tell at this point. I'll worry about it if I have to. Yeah, that looks to be the likely scenario, honey bunny. Thank you, Rock. Were you getting radiation treatment too, Brian? How did it work out? I know Eva's kind of scared. Oh, so I hope that worked out well, Alex. Uh, Last Sunday I had hmm, I hope it worked out well, Brian. Um, but anyhow, last Sunday I was having trouble with shortness of breath. They couldn't find any problem with my heart, and Brian said his radiation went pretty easily. Prostate.
Yeah.
I understand, little
Yeah.
one.
Prostate clubs actually go out golfing together.
Yeah. But anyhow, so they're not exactly sure where I'm short of breath at certain times. The lungs are okay, the heart's okay, and so uh, I'm thinking it's more. I've gained just a few pounds, not much, like 5, but if it's all in the visceral fat, may make breathing a little harder. I think there may be a pinched nerve issue there. I have a feeling it's more control systems than anything else, but it's none of them are none of the doctors are concerned that it's dangerous. Um, and I mean, like when I was in the ER, Eva was watching the respiration while I was dozing off, and she'd say you go from about 12 down to 8, maybe down to, you know, 5 or 6 or a little less, and then you start gasping for air, and the whole time your oxygen saturation was at 95, you know? $70 a foot for core drilling? Hmm, not as expensive as I would have thought. Rock? Yeah, there's a lot of mobilization and all kinds of other stuff. First circulation be about half that and twice as fast. Yeah, yeah. RC works better, but you get less data in terms of the structural stuff. You can do the chemistry, but it's hard to do what the structure is. Works fine for disseminated deposits, not so good for you know high grade veins and stuff like that. But yeah, well, it's not too bad, Rock. Oh yeah, there's a lot of incidental stuff, and there's mobilization. There's potentially things like providing room and board, especially if you're out in the middle of nowhere. All kinds of potential complications. But just the drilling, that's surprises me how low that is. No problem, Rock. Thank you very much. So anyhow, that's what we got doing here, and oh, looks like it's settling out. See. Locking and settling at this point. Let's see. I think you can see it's starting to thin out at the top there. It's darker than hell down there. Give it a few hours. I'm hoping that before midnight it will have settled well enough that I can start drying it out. I can decant and start drying. Spent $10 million just to get started, huh? Yeah, clearly got a layer right at the top there. You can see where it's starting to settle out. Yep, a couple hours, and we should be in a position. problem with filtration is it tends to plug filters. Holy moly! It seems to it seems to settle pretty quickly, Alex. Yeah, I do have a flocculant. I prefer not using it if I don't have to. And centrifuge, yeah. Yeah, helicoptering equipment gets pretty pricey. Dirt run my old dredge piles. Yeah, well, sometimes the mobilization can get a little ridiculous, but you do what you got to do. Uh, anyhow, so that's what I'm doing here, and we got another hour or two of stuff to do this evening. It's only 7 o'clock. Not bad. You should be able to do it. Oh yeah, sometimes it gets pretty ridiculous. They have to do. I remember at Grossberg, the there was a mountain visible from Ertzberg that the geologists have been interested in a long time, and one day, big mucky de muck had his helicopter over there and said, we're got about 3 or 4 hours of meetings here. So if you want to take a helicopter ride, have my pilot take you over there and you can get some samples and, then bring them back and we'll see. Because I know you've been looking at that and, the structures got you kind of interested. So they did it and they came back and the grab samples came back really good. So then they helicoptered over a drill and punched a bunch of holes, and the drill samples came up pretty good. And it turned out to be the biggest, gold deposit found in the 20th century. But when they were looking to build a road up there, I think Bechtel gave them a price of $100 million or something like that. And one of their dozer operators who'd been, had helped them drive the road to Ertzberg, which was quite the accomplishment in itself, said, if you can helicopter that a small dozer, like a little D3 over there, I think I can work a road down with that will allow me to drive another, a bigger dozer up the hill and start working it too. And that's basically what they did. The helicopter little dozer over there kept it, supplied with fuel and oil. He busted a trail. And then they just started bringing bigger bulldozers up and busting bigger trail. And they did it all for about 15 million. So anyhow, that's, the way it happens sometimes. So, any other subjects or questions at this point? I will try and keep everyone kind of informed on what my researchers show me, and go from there. But looks like we may have two systems that will work for what we need it to do. One of which will work for other stuff too. Yeah, it's pretty good. And that's some pretty hairy dozing too. That is some insanely steep terrain to be busting a side hill cut on. Oh, but anyhow, that's our basic situation right now. Looks interesting, and I say I'll keep you guys appraised of what's going on and what seems to work and what doesn't seem to work, and we'll go from there. Okay, sounds good, Alex. Just make sure you put a note there not to share so I don't forget. Six drills and 1,000 holes. How deep are you drilling, Rock? 500, 1,000 feet, something like that. I've been known to do that too, Jean-Francois. Oh, so, and my health seems to be reasonably good, although I'm still short of breath. Eva, I appreciate all the prayers and energy you can send her way, and we will let you know what happens. I'll probably do like I did last time. Once we get home, I'll just put a quick little notification up that we're home safe and everything. Uh, can't think of anything else. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Brian. Okay, I'll check it out, Jean-Francois. Wow. Yeah, 1,000 foot deep holes and 1,000 holes. That comes out to a lot of footage. Yeah, I didn't do much field work either this year, Alex. Thank you, Sarah. People are sending their best wishes, little one.
Okay, thank you.
And Jeff Kablock says he's definitely going to be here next year. So, that's 4,500 feet each, huh? Wow. Yeah, I can understand that, Rock. No sense punching through waste, but you just want to make sure that it's waste. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes if you don't punch through it. Uh, okay, Brian. Oh, he certainly is an exploration encyclopedia, Jean Francois. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna call it a night because I got to get another hour or two of stuff done, and I got to drive. Okay, Alex. Yeah, I've been kind of skeptical of XRF for a long time for what I'm doing. It just seems to me to be a signal to noise ratio problem. Oh, oh, oh. Yep. Okay, anybody got any more questions or anything? Yeah, I think go ahead, honey bunny. I got work I got to get done. Or, or head hits the pillow here. Luckily, the supplemental oxygen they want me on right now has not been a problem. It's pretty easy to. The cannula doesn't bother me too much.
Night, everybody.
Thank you, Michael. I seem to be doing pretty good. We'll get it figured out. Eva, a little tougher row to hoe there. Okay.
Happy prospecting and keep it safe out there.